Something sad happened today, which is Lou Ekos passed away. Most of you probably know him from Tropic Marin. Probably seen him on a bunch of BRS TV videos. You may have seen him in the MACNA presentations that he's done. If you've ever been to a Reapapalooza show, you've certainly seen him. He's been representative of Tropic Marin for longer than most of us have been in the hobby. And I think a lot of us are going to be really sad about it, but I don't think that's what he'd want. I think he would like us to, remember him and, instead of miss him, share the things that we remember about how he impacted our lives and how we impacted them together. So I just wanted to share a few of those with you and how he impacted my life. Maybe he's impacted yours similarly, or somebody else has. But uh, he made me want to be a better person at many points. He made me think, man, this guy is holding on to his moral set more than almost anybody I know. So I'm going to share those stories with you, starting with the fact that he refused to sell to me for I don't even know how long. It felt like a decade. I called him, asked him to sell the salt to me at BRS when I owned it. He refused. And then I call again and he refused, and so on and so forth. But we got to know each other, like, pretty well over that period of time. I would go meet him at his booth over at Reapapalooza, and he'd refuse, and he'd refuse. And the reason for it was because he had made a commitment to support the local fish store first. And so to him, that meant he couldn't give us any kind of special treatment or anything like that. And, what I really needed was to be able to buy the salt at wholesale so that we could ship it because shipping the salt is so expensive. And he just refused. He just would not sell it to us wholesale no matter how much we'd buy. And he just said it wasn't fair to local fish stores. And he just wouldn't do it. Uh, and year after year after year that went by. And every year that went by, I was just more and more impressed by somebody that stood up for, not just his beliefs, but his commitments to other people, even in the face of, great, financial win for himself and even his peers over at Tropic Marin. Even one year I went to him and I said, just tell me how much it is. Make up a number. I don't even care what it is. Write it down on a piece of paper and I already will say yes. If it's one container, if it's 10 containers, I mean, these are 40-foot containers of salt. I'll say yes to it. I believe in what you're doing. And he said, "Ryan, I love you, but I just can't do it." And this is just like a inkling here, man, of pushing us again to be better people. And usually it's somebody else around you that you see how they behave, and you say, "I should be more like them." And this is one of those cases for me. Now you might be wondering how he ever got the salt, and that's like a different aspect of his character, which is he's so respectful to everyone. He was just kind and treated everyone around him with the utmost respect, and that's not always true in the business world. In fact, I met with 3 people at an Interzoo, and I don't know if it was 2015, might have been the one after that, but, uh, what happened is I was losing money on salt, and, we were shipping the stuff, but you might as well put $5 taped to every bucket after you pay for all the shipping costs. And so, I went to a friend of mine and he said, like, I asked him, who is producing the best salt out there? And he laughed. He said, you're not allowed to tell anybody this, but it's Tropic Marin. And like, even over your own stuff, but he's like, that's why you're not allowed to tell anybody. I'm like, oh man, this guy though, he just refuses to sell to me. And then I went to another place who was actually our number one salt at the time, man. I put a lot of effort into this thing. And I said, hey man, just like help me out here. Just give me a few bucks off of this salt. And he just said, Ryan, if you can't do it profitably, maybe you shouldn't be selling salt. And I'm like, wow, man, just hardcore business, just not nice. And then something miraculous happened. There was a change in ownership over at Tropic Marin. Things had changed. I walked over to their booth and I said, Lou, help me out. and he said, "Maybe now is the time is right." And that was really the beginning of everything for us, where, we knew each other pretty well, but I had already built up so much respect for him that it was like becoming a friendship. Later on, you'd see him on, Beerus TV because they'd invite him in to share information with other people. You would also see him, in the Magna talks. And I'm trying not to cry right now because his wife is texting me. Uh, you might know that he's awesome. Uh, but anyway, he was the most popular person that ever came on the Beerus TV. We'd have him on, like of all the special guests, we'd have him on there. Like he was number one. We'd had the most views when you did the Macna. It was almost always the most views. And I think that some of the people in our industry wouldn't have known why. And the answer was because if you met him, he just wasn't out to get something from you. He was out to help you. And you could see it in the way that he talked to people, that like even in these interviews, he's talking to you as a reaper, trying to help you, not trying to sell you. Sure, somewhere in the back of his head, he wants you to buy some, carbocalcium or something, but like not at the expense of his own value set. I mean, it's just so rare. And in fact, I heard about, his illness a year ago. He called me and told me about it. Uh, and then, like right away, he's like, but I think I could still do videos right. I want to come out to Minneapolis, man. And then not more than just a couple months later, he's the same thing. He's like, my treatments, I think they're going better, man. And I really want to come out to Minneapolis and shoot these videos with you. And that's just like where his heart was, man. And so I don't know. I think that if you can think about those moments with people that you care about and how they affect you, cherish them, man, and let them inspire you. Because Lou inspired me. In fact, I'm gonna go on to one more story that I think he's a really good example of. I was once encountered this video from David Brooks that talks about your professional virtues and your eulogy virtues, and that the world really, you know, embraces conquering the mountain and how many dollars you've earned and all your professional successes, and really doesn't embrace the kind things that you do for other people, sadly, until you pass. But once you pass, it changes entirely. And all of a sudden, when somebody goes to your eulogy, they talk about how you made them feel, how they inspired you, how like they treated other people, and again, how it made you feel. Their good deeds, not how many buckets of salt you sold. So if there's one thing that you learn from all of this, should all be more like you. We should all live for our eulogy virtues, be more like Lou, and treat each other with respect and kindness. So thank you, Lou, and thank you, Leslie. He will be missed, but we should remember him the most.